thanks to the channel supporters. The First Balkan War, the World War number 0. The Great War wasn't the first world war the world witnessed. It was preceded by a war in which most of the European powers participated either directly or indirectly. The Balkans were and still the powder keg lying beneath Europe's belly. In this region, there was ethnic, religious, and national tension between the Christian Slavs, Bulgars, and the Greeks, the landowners, and the Muslim Ottomans, the rulers of the land, which led to the outbreak of the First Balkan War. But how did the Ottomans manage to rule the Balkans? In the 6th century, the Balkans and the Middle East were ruled by the Orthodox Byzantine Empire. It was awash with knowledge and prosperity, which prompted the Bulgarians and a group of Slavs to migrate from South Russia towards the Balkans. Meanwhile, a new religion, which is Islam, emerged in the Arabian Peninsula, and its adherents were able to control the Middle East at the expense of the Byzantines. It then reached Anatolia, which is Turkey now, where the Turks adopted this new religion. And from here, the signs of the Balkan War began to take shape. The Turks, led by Osman I, were able to fully control Anatolia and establish the Ottoman Empire in 1299. What happened was a civil war in the Byzantine Empire between the 9-year-old legitimate heir to the throne, John V, and John VI Cantacuzene, a Greek nobleman who appointed himself emperor. John VI asked for help from the Ottoman Sultan Orhan I, who accepted their assistance in exchange for some land, which gave the Ottomans a foothold in the Balkans. Then an earthquake weakened the city walls, which enabled the Ottomans to occupy Gallipoli. The Ottomans pushed deeper into the Balkans, occupying Macedonia and Edirne, which became their capital. The Balkan states are starting to worry. All right, everyone, the Ottomans are moving in again. Does any one of you have a solution? We could try diplomacy this time. Oh yes, because that worked so well last time. Remind me, didn't they diplomatically take your capital? It was a strategic surrender. All right, enough is enough. We need a plan, a real one this time. Guys, I have a great idea. What if we all unite into one big strong alliance? Didn't we try that already? Ended in a friendly fire because of border disputes. Look, we just need to set aside our tiny border disputes and focus on the real enemy. The Balkan states formed an alliance to stop the Ottomans, but were defeated, so the Ottoman power strengthened in the region. In conclusion, many Balkan states like Serbia and Bulgaria became vassals before being fully incorporated into the empire. The Ottomans used them to attack the remaining free Balkan states. Finally, Sofia and Thessaloniki fell into the hands of the Ottomans. Only Constantinople remained standing in the Ottomans' face, which was the most important city in the Balkans and considered a center of the Orthodox faith. The Ottomans launched a massive land and sea encirclement with no less than 250,000 soldiers, with the most modern and powerful cannons of the time, in addition to 320 warships. The Ottomans bombarded the city for 55 consecutive days until it fell in 1453 at the hands of Mehmed the Conqueror. By late 16th century, most of the Balkans were under Ottoman control, thus making many Balkan countries Muslim to this day, such as Kosovo and Albania. These victories and glories did not last long. After a century, the empire began to weaken as a result of the weakness of the rulers, some of whom prevented any new invention from entering the Ottoman Empire. Your Excellency, I would like to introduce you this new invention which enables you to print a large number of papers in a short time instead of typing, which takes weeks and months. What about the writers? Are you the one who will find them another job? But we must keep up with Europe in scientific development. I don't care. Ban this invention. Hello, Sultan. This chef wants you to try this new recipe that came to us from Africa. It's called coffee. I don't like the smell of it, so ban it in all parts of the empire. Others were only concerned with women, giving them privileges and money, which led to the anger of some people, including generals, workers, soldiers, and even members of the ruling family.
Hi, babe. Can you appoint my son as Chief of Staff of the Army?
Naksha deal. But your son is only 9 years old and has never led a battle in his life.
What do you tonight?
If that is the case, I agree. So, according to your file, you have no military experience and you have never led a battle in your life, but your mother is that hot lady. And you? You have defeated all the kingdoms of Europe and you have 20 years of experience in the military. So the position will be yours.
Hello, babe. Can you give me all of Syria's income for this year?
All of Syria's income for this year? And actually, he gave her all of Syria's income for that year. During this period, something happened that changed the balance of power in the entire world. The Industrial Revolution emerged in Europe during the 18th century. The Ottoman Empire did not keep pace with this revolution, becoming somewhat backward compared to other European countries. Well, the Industrial Revolution required a lot of resources to use, and Europe was a continent that lacked resources, so they decided to take them from the people that had them by force. And two of the most important places that contain resources are North Africa and the Middle East, regions ruled by the Ottoman Empire. Greece entered into a war against the Ottomans and surprisingly won and gained independence in 1922. However, it remained in a naval conflict with the Ottomans, forcing them to withdraw their fleet from Algeria and transfer it to Turkey. But in the end, they were defeated by Greece with the help of the British. Algeria now lacks a fleet, making it vulnerable to colonization. This aroused the ambitions of European countries, especially France, which colonized the Ottoman province of Algeria. And they also took Tunisia. Egypt gained its independence from the Ottomans after the Muhammad Ali Pasha Revolution, who handed it over to Britain. On the other side of the empire, Russia wanted to reach warm waters in order to be able to trade by sea. It also declared its support for the Slavic peoples and its desire to unite them with Russia, so it entered into wars against the Ottomans. Hi, Europe. Russia has attacked me. We know. And you're gonna stay like this without doing anything? What do you want us to do? Defend your borders. Guys, do you realize that if Russia wins, it will take my lands and it will unite with the Balkan countries? If that happened, Russia will become unstoppable. We got you. The Ottoman Empire won this war and forced Russia to sign a peace treaty. Despite the victory, the Ottoman Empire emerged weak and heavily indebted to the European powers. So Russia wanted a second round and entered into a war with the Ottomans in 1877, in which Russia won, allowing for a new wave of independence in the Balkan states. Romania gained independence in 1977, then Serbia in 1978, and finally Bulgaria in 1908. But they weren't satisfied with the division. They wanted the whole cake. When Italy saw the European countries occupying the Ottoman lands, it decided to attack Libya in 1912. The Balkan countries said, "That's it. This is our opportunity." Let's recap a little. The Ottoman Empire colonized the Balkans. The European powers intervened to weaken the Ottoman Empire and took its colonies. Russia attacked the Ottomans to reach warm waters and help the Balkan countries gain their independence. With the help of Russia, the Balkan countries gained their independence but wanted to expand their territories. These countries formed an alliance called the Balkan League and declared war on the Ottoman Empire. And with that, the First Balkan War began. Hey, do you want to support the channel and at the same time you get some benefits like writing your name in the beginning and early access to the videos that I make? We want to inform you that we have opened the feature of membership and super thanks. If you want to support the channel in order for this content to continue, we invite you to join, the link in the description. Thank you. The Ottoman Empire withdrew its officers and some of its army from Libya to participate in the Balkan War, which made it easier for the Italians to invade Libya. The Ottoman army now numbered between 350,000 and 400,000, in addition to 500,000 in reserve, with 8,000 officers and 50 warships. While the Balkan armies numbered around 765,000, 370,000 Bulgarians, 230,000 Serbs, 35,000 Montenegrins, and 130,000 Greeks with 30 warships. Montenegro was the weakest and the first country to declare war. They launched an attack accompanied by Serbia in the north of Kosovo. Wow, that was easy. So the Serbian decided to push deeper in order to be the first to take North Macedonia, and they engaged with the Ottomans in the Battle of Kumanovo. In this battle, the Serbian crushed the Ottomans. The Ottomans positioned their artillery on the high hills, aiming to trap them. While the Serbian forces were advancing with great speed and determination, the Ottomans launched a quick artillery attack and then unleashed cavalry and infantry in order to break through the Serb lines before organizing themselves and taking up positions in the battlefield. But the Serbs realized the situation and took a defensive position to repel the attack. They succeeded in repelling them and moved to attack again. But fortunately for the Ottomans, the sun set and the fighting ended for that day. The next day, the Serbs took the offensive, hoping to achieve a crushing victory and end the Ottoman presence in northern Macedonia once and for all. The two armies clashed, and the superiority of the Serbs became clear. By midday, the Serbs had succeeded in destroying the Ottoman forces who fled the field. Thus, the Serbs occupied all of northern Macedonia. Meanwhile, the Montenegrin army turned to besiege the city of Scutari. They besieged it for 6 months, and they took it, but were later forced to hand it over to the Albanians. Speaking of Albania, the Albanians revolted against the Ottomans in the summer of 1912, before the war even started, who were able to gain autonomy and control the city of Pristina. After the war began, the Serbs decided to take it from the Albanians, but the Albanians refused, so the Battle of Pristina took place there between the Serbs and the Turco-Albanian alliance. The Albanians didn't have a strong army, so they managed to hold out for a short time before being crushed by the Serbs. And here, where one of the most horrific massacres in human history has occurred, as 5,000 Albanians were massacred, including women and children, and their homes were burned. This event is described as the darkest days in Albanian Kosovar history. On the Eastern Front, the Bulgarians launched an attack on two sides. The western side, with the aim of controlling northern Macedonia, and then the city of Thessaloniki, while the Eastern Army attacked to conquer the two most important cities of the Ottoman Empire, Edirne and Istanbul. They besieged Adrianople and attacked Kırıkkale, paving the way for the occupation of Istanbul. They succeeded in occupying Kırıkkale. Now, only the Satalka lines separate them from the capital of the Ottomans. Bulgaria is threatening Istanbul, the cradle of orthodoxy. This was making a certain nation concerned. No, not the Ottomans, but the Russians, their ally, which decided to switch side and send an ultimatum to Bulgaria, warning them not to march on Istanbul. The Bulgarians ignored the threat and decided to march towards Istanbul, and the result was catastrophic losses on both sides, but they managed to stop Bulgaria. The question here is why Russia decided to turn against its ally. The answer is that Russia saw Istanbul as a right for itself due to its strategic location and religious status. Its presence under the control of the Ottomans or any other Balkan state threatened the Russian trade, in addition to the fact that Russia wanted this war only to weaken the Ottomans, not to create a great power in the Balkans, without forgetting that Russia considered itself the protector of the Orthodox, and the fall of Istanbul into the hands of the Bulgarians deprived it of this title. In the south, Greece wasn't the most powerful country in the Balkans, but it was the only country with a naval fleet, so they entered into a naval battle against the Ottomans. Greece imposed a naval blockade on the Ottoman fleet inside the Dardanelles Strait, so that they could not navigate in the Aegean Sea. So the Ottomans decided to break this blockade and left the strait. At dawn, both fleets met off the island of Lemnos. The Ottomans advanced quickly and positioned their cannons towards the enemy ships, hoping for a quick victory. But the general Kounturiotis changed the plan at the last moment, taking part of the Greek fleet and setting off quickly to surround the Ottomans. The Ottomans were in trouble because they had directed their cannons towards the enemy ships according to the first formation, and were not prepared for the change made by the Greeks. And it was too late to change the direction of the cannons as the Greek fleet began to bombard the Ottomans from all sides. With the horror of the situation and the huge losses, the Ottomans panicked and withdrew from the battle and returned to the strait. This victory allowed the Greeks to impose their control over the Aegean Sea, which prevented the Ottomans from sending reinforcements to the battlefronts. In addition to the naval victories on the land, they were better than expected. They occupied central Macedonia, southern Albania, and the city of Xanthi, and they are now on their way to occupy the city of Thessaloniki. At the same time, Bulgaria had finished occupying eastern Macedonia and was now also heading towards Thessaloniki to take it before Greece. And the race has begun. Who will take the city first? The answer is Greece. They took the city without any significant resistance because the Ottomans wanted to avoid a bloodbath, knowing that they were unable to defend the city. Hi, Ottomans. I think I arrived first. Hurry, give me the keys of the city before the Greeks come. But I already gave them to the Greeks. What? You mean the Greeks arrived before me? You know what? I hate my allies and my enemies. Russia has turned against me. Serbia and Greece are jealous of me. Do I have a real friend? And by the way, expect an attack on Istanbul soon. Bulgaria wanted revenge and launched an attack on Istanbul. And as happened in the First Battle of Catalka, a bloodbath. But the Bulgarians failed to occupy Istanbul. The Ottomans began to realize that the end was near. They are suffering devastating defeats on all fronts. Bulgaria took Adrianople and Thrace region. Serbia took most of Kosovo and northern Macedonia, and the Greeks captured Thessaloniki, Ioannina, and the Ottoman islands. And eventually, they asked for a peace negotiation. In this negotiation, the Ottoman Empire was required to recognize all the territories it had lost to the victorious nations. This angered a group of Ottoman youths led by Enver Bey, who saw it as a mark of shame against them, so he decided to overthrow the Ottoman government and took power in the state. He preferred to resume the war, but he also got kicked. He faced the reality and was forced to sign a peace treaty. Thus, the First Balkan War ended. The Treaty of London signed in 1913 was a prelude to World War I. In this treaty, the map of the Balkans was reshaped. Albania gained its independence and was recognized as a free country. Serbia wanted to acquire Albania, but Austria and Italy opposed its presence on the Adriatic coast. Borders between the Balkan states were not fully settled, which will lead to tensions later. And most importantly, the Ottomans were expelled from the region permanently, thus ending the Ottoman presence in the Balkans that had lasted for 6 centuries. These divisions didn't only angered the Ottomans, but also angered another nation, which will lead us to After every war, there is a dispute between the victorious countries over the division of the spoils. For example, after World War I, the Italians and Japanese disagreed with the Allied powers, and in World War II, the Soviet Union disagreed with the Western countries. And in our story for today, the dispute occurred between Bulgaria and the rest of the Balkan states. We are in 1913. After 8 months of fighting, the First Balkan War has finally come to an end. Different feelings among the victorious countries because of the divisions. Bulgaria feels angry at being betrayed by its allies. Greece and Serbia fear for the lands they have gained. Romania and Montenegro feel stable in the region and threaten to strike any country that threatens this stability. And finally, the Ottoman Empire feels resentment towards Bulgaria and wanted to regain the lands it lost in the First Balkan War. These feelings led to the outbreak of the Second Armed Conflict in the Balkans, known as In light of these contradictory feelings, the feeling of joy at victory on the one hand, and the feeling of fear on the other hand of a second war, the most important question was, who would own what? Before the First Balkan War began, Bulgaria, Serbia, and Greece held a secret meeting to divide the Ottoman Empire's legacy. So as I told you, you will take Adrianople and Thrace region, and I will take Albania, Kosovo, and North Macedonia. And Greece will take South Albania, okay, South Macedonia, okay, and Thessaloniki. No, I take Thessaloniki. Who the hell do you think you are? You took the biggest part, and you want to take my part too. Piss off. I have an idea. Let's go to Russia. It will fix this problem and end the fight. Hello, Russia, can you solve a problem between Greece and Bulgaria? They both want to get Thessaloniki. Sorry, I love you all, but I don't interfere in what doesn't concern me. I told you I'm the one who'll take it. No, I will. The Balkan states declared war on the Ottoman Empire without a clear agreement on the division of the territories. And after their victory over the Ottomans, Bulgaria felt it wasn't getting the lands it deserved to have, so it went to Serbia to reshape the map. Hey, you! Give me Eastern Macedonia peacefully, or, I will invade you. But we agreed before the war that I will take it. I changed my mind. I have the strongest army, and I am the one who fought the hardest battles in the war. And I remind you that these lands are inhabited by Bulgarians who want to return to their motherland. You know what? Maybe you're right. I'll be right back. Hello, Austria. Do you want to be the dove of peace that will save the lives of thousands of people? Here, let me explain the situation to you. The Bulgars want to take North Macedonia, which is under my control now, but I will agree to give it to them on the condition that I take Albania instead. Do you agree? No, but you will save the blood of thousands of people and win the Nobel Prize. I don't care. Go away. Sorry, but I can't give you what you want. Serbia was ready to cede Macedonia to the Bulgarians in exchange for Albania in order to gain access to the Adriatic Sea. But after the Western powers, especially Austria, rejected its request, it decided to keep Macedonia. Secondly, Greece. Bulgaria also went to Greece in order to give it Thessaloniki. Hey Greece, this is the last time I will warn you. Either give me Thessaloniki or I declare war. Oh, you again? I told you I won't give you anything and do what you want to do. The Bulgarian King Ferdinand was furious and went to the government to inform them of the response of Serbia and Greece. But he was looking for an excuse to convince the government and the army to declare war. So he claimed that Serbia and Greece had reneged on their promises to Bulgaria. Gentlemen, Serbia and Greece have broken their promises to you and have not paid any attention to you. So I think the time for war has come. What? Our army has just come out of a war and is now exhausted, and Romania and Montenegro have warned us that they will side with our enemies if we start another war. Do you think Bulgaria is Germany or Britain to confront all these countries? And by the way, Russia said that it will not send any reinforcements. You convinced me. Well, I won't declare war. Go and order the army to attack and make sure that these cowards don't find out. On the night of June 29, 1913, Bulgarian forces infiltrated Macedonian territory and attacked Serbian positions without a declaration of war. The next day, Serbia declared war on Bulgaria. Greece also joined Serbia due to a defense treaty with it. And the Second Balkan War began. Bulgaria's plan was based on a quick victory by surprise attacking Serbia and Greece without declaring war to take key areas before the Serbo-Greek forces could prepare themselves, thus eliminating them from the war, and it would be too late for Romania and the Ottoman Empire to intervene in the war. The Serbian army had some 190,000 soldiers, in addition to 130,000 Greeks, while the Bulgarian army consisted of 500,000 soldiers divided into 5 armies. The 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 4th armies were ordered to head towards the Serbian border, while the 2nd Army was ordered to head to the Greek border. The 4th Army launched an offensive in the south against the Serbian forces, which managed to capture some strategic places. Seeing the 5th Bulgarian Army didn't attack and the situation deteriorating in the south, the Serbian 3rd Army decided to move south to assist the 1st Army, which enabled them to stop the Bulgarians for a while. This region is now without defenses. The Bulgarians wanted to seize the opportunity and sent the 5th Army to surround the Serbs. As the 2 Bulgarian armies advanced, the Serbs withdrew and lost other strategic positions, but they were able to organize themselves and launch a counterattack in the Battle of Bregalnica. As the Bulgarians advanced, the Serbs decided to stop retreating and face the Bulgarians in a decisive battle. They gathered a large army that outnumbered the Bulgarian army from various regions, and with support from Montenegro, they launched a violent artillery attack. After a few days, the Serbian artillery has the final decision. The Bulgars were far from their lands, unlike the Serbian army, which was on its own land. And because of this, there was a shortage of logistics and miscommunication within the ranks of the Bulgarian army, which caused its defeat. After Bregalnica, the Serbs turned the table and went on the offensive, penetrating into Bulgarian-held areas and even threatening Bulgarian territory near the western border. So the Bulgarians abandoned the offensive and dug trenches, which helped them to defend their lands. In the north, the 1st and 3rd armies achieved minor successes against the Serbs, but they were soon stopped by the Serbian defenses. In the south, the Bulgarian forces launched an attack on Greece, but the Greeks was prepared contrary to what Bulgaria thought. They were able to repel the attack and moved on to the offensive as well, until the two armies met in a place called Kilkis, where the Battle of Kilkis Lacanas took place. The battlefield was divided into two areas: Kilkis, a hilly area suitable for defense, and Lacanas, a village with streets and houses. The Bulgarians took up defensive positions on the hilltops. Meanwhile, the Greeks below were trying to break through the defenses lines, so they launched an artillery attack, and then the infantry moved in to capture the enemy artillery. But the Greek cannons had no effect on the Bulgarian line, so the Bulgarians were able to repel the attack, inflicting heavy losses on them. So the Greeks advanced their cannons to increase the bombardment's power. But this time, they decided to disrupt the Bulgarian defenses by launching an attack on the village of Lacanas at the same time. Fierce street fighting erupted, using whatever weapons they could find: cannons, machine guns, knives. After 2 hours, they won this fighting. Now they were besieging the Bulgarian defenses positioned above on 3 sides, so they prepared all their forces for a final assault to give the Bulgars a knockout blow. They launched a heavy artillery bombardment and then launched all their soldiers towards the enemy positions. The Bulgars were no match. They laid down their weapons and withdrew through the unbesieged side, but the Greek leaders ordered their soldiers to pursue them and slaughtered many of them. This defeat represented the failure of the Bulgarian plan to quickly defeat the Serbs and Greeks and not give Romania and the Ottoman Empire time to join. As a result, Romania decided to join the war on July 10th. They launched an attack on the northern border, where they were able to cross the borders and the Danube River without any resistance from the Bulgarians. Your Excellency, are you sure we are here to fight? What do you think then? We're here for a vacation? It seems so. We are on the outskirts of the capital Sofia, and we haven't fought yet. Hey, I think it's a surprise. He's taking us on vacation in Sofia and doesn't want to tell us. The Romanian army is 160 kilometers far from the Bulgarian capital Sofia, and in order to dampen the Bulgarian spirits, they began sending planes dropping propaganda leaflets, thus making Sofia the first capital in the world over which enemy aircraft flew. During this period, the Ottoman Empire was neutral, but it was watching the war from afar. When it saw the tragic situation of the Bulgarian army, it decided to seize the opportunity and regain some of its lands. Hey Bulgaria, come here, I want to talk to you. What? Come here, I want to talk to you. What do you want? Don't you see that I'm busy fighting Serbia and Greece? I want my land back, so give me the keys of Adrianople. The Ottomans launched an attack in the Thrace region to regain its territory, especially the city of Adrianople. But the Bulgarians surrendered the areas without any significant resistance, fearing a disaster encirclement from all fronts. Bulgaria complied with the fait accompli and knew that the war is lost. All its armies were stuck on the Serbo-Greek front. Its eastern borders were exposed to the Ottomans without any defenses, and its capital is about to fall into the hands of the Romanians. If it did not request a surrender treaty, all the country will be gone. So they sent messages to Romania, Serbia, and Greece, asking for an armistice. Serbia and Greece rejected the armistice and decided to resume the war in order to obtain more territory before signing the final treaty. But after Romania stopped fighting and some pressure from Russia, they accepted the armistice, knowing that the war could turn against them. In this treaty, Serbia took most of the Vardar Macedonia, Greece took much of the Aegean coast and southern Macedonia, and Romania took southern Dobruja. 3 countries were out of the war. Now Bulgaria remained in conflict only with the Ottomans, but it was exhausted and its morale was low, so it decided to surrender to the Ottomans as well, in a separate treaty, thus ending the Second Balkan War. The Balkan Wars were considered the events that defined the Eastern Front of World War I. After Bulgaria's defeat in the Second Balkan War, it was eager to enter into a new war to regain its lands, and the result was its joining the Central Powers camp in World War I, and also for the Ottomans. As for Serbia, after Austria objected to Serbia's acquisition of Albania, the tension increased, so Serbia decided to take revenge and killed its crown prince, which was the spark that ignited the war.